Today we are going to be making the most of the Rakaia Gorge by taking a jet boat up the river and hiking our way back.
This morning we are making our way to the beautiful Rakaia Gorge and our ride has arrived. We are going to be hopping onto the jet boat of Discovery Jet and we are making our way through the beautiful gorge. The goal today is going to be to speed upstream with the team from Discovery Jet, and when we arrive about halfway through the gorge we're going to hop off the jet boat and tackle our way back through the beautiful Rakaia Gorge Walkway.
The journey up the Rakaia Gorge is absolutely stunning as we're just thrown into this complete wilderness area. The further down the gorge we go, the higher the gorge walls get, the more forest there is around us, and the more stunning these milky blue waters get. It's amazing what these jet boats can do, and our driver Blair is negotiating up all these different river channels because the Rakaia River is actually a braided river. This also means that the water is super shallow, but that doesn't stop this jet boat that can just speed right on top of the water surface. A jet boat ride also means that there's lots of near misses with towering gorge walls and also a couple of 360 spins thrown into the mix where the boat does a full 360 spin right on one point.
This marks our halfway point for today. We're going to be hopping off the jet boat now. Blair is telling us where we need to hike and which direction we need to go to find our camper van bag, and we are now on our own. We only realize how windy the Rakaia Gorge are as soon as we get off the jet boat. Because of the speed, we didn't realize that this is one of the windiest places of the whole of New Zealand.
And we are now climbing on a cliff of the gorge. It's a pretty steep track, but it's a beautiful one. We're really well sheltered from the wind now, so it just feels much nicer than in the gorge.
The hike from there is going to be taking us about 2 hours to be reunited with our camper van at the base of the Discovery Jet. It's a really cool hike, there is heaps to see, and Laura can't stop herself taking pictures of literally everything.
It's just some flowers.
To her credit, those flowers are looking absolutely gorgeous. The whole track is a mix between exotic flowers and native bush. It's a very interesting mix and something unlike we've seen at all during this entire trip.
Not only is the vegetation super diverse along this track, but also the geology of the area is as well, with different coal and limestone cliffs that we can see. We're walking along glacial and river-carved terraces as well, and there's even ancient lava flows in this area. Among all the awesome sights and picture opportunities, the trail itself is pretty adventurous. It's really rugged, it's very varied. On this single trail, we have all these routes to climb over. There's a lot of pebbled streams to cross and some muddy sections as well, but it still makes this track really awesome to do. The first section of the trail is mostly going uphill as we're making our way to the highest point of the gorge on the Rakaia Walkway, and it's a really good ratio between being in the forest and out of that really strong wind, and also coming to some really awesome viewpoints where we can see extensive views over the river and all the way out to the Southern Alps. About midway through the walk, we even find ourselves a little sidetrack pointing to an old coal mine. When we get to the coal mine, it is the most terrifying thing we've ever seen as we look into this really deep and dark tunnel.
We are looking at the Snowdon coal mine right here, and honestly it looks like a pure horror movie. There is no amount of money that you can give me to get me to work in something as scary as that. The hike then takes us through beautiful native forest and to amazing viewpoints. We get to see some amazing views of the Rakaia River as well as some really awesome nature wildlife. The Rakaia River is actually New Zealand's largest braided river. It is an absolutely stunning sight because of its milky blue water and all the light grey colored rocks surrounding it. It makes it pop so much through the green, lush New Zealand sceneries. And it's actually quite a rare sight because braided rivers of this size can only be found in Alaska, Himalayas and in Canada. So in New Zealand we are the 4th country in the world where you can find those rivers, and that's really unique. It's one of those things that New Zealand is underestimated for. We have sceneries which are not only gorgeous but absolutely unique. And despite the wind, we get to see a lot of people around the river because this is a fisherman's paradise. There is heaps of salmon and trout in the Rakaia River, so it makes it a really big hotspot for any keen fisherman. And the reason we know that is because our jetboat driver Blair could only talk about fishing. He's crazy about his trout and his salmon. As we are finishing our hike, the whole forestry is changing from native New Zealand bush to pine forest. The pine forests were planted here by English settlers that wanted a fast-growing tree for both constructions and for heating their houses. It was an awesome hike and we're now making our way back to Methven. So we make our way to the coal mine and oh my god, there is no way I'm working here, ever. Hell no. This is crazy. I'm considering myself so lucky for the advance in both technology and labor laws. This is just beyond me. There is no way you're making me go through that unless I'm wearing a helmet and I have a tube to go do some blackwater rafting.